Greetings and welcome to this episode on Geeks First. Today we talk about Living Legend and the update that Legendary Story Studios just put out. All that and more. Stay tuned. Alright, and here we are today, getting to talk about some interesting stuff. Living Legend. There was an interesting article that was produced, and it did answer some questions that I have had about Flesh and Blood and the direction that they would like to take the Living Legend status in regards to heroes that you and I may love. As we have experienced in some of the formats up to now, the rate at which heroes are released and the rate at which the heroes are reaching or obtaining Living Legend status in some regards seemed faster than most. But when you start breaking down the time, and I believe somebody has actually done this per hero, I do not know who that individual is, but I have seen some data out there. I'll see if I can find it and link it in the comment below. They determined that the average lifespan of a hero is actually less than what they're looking for. So that is now history, and going forward, this is the new Living Legend model. So it does seem that LSS is basically, doubling down on this Living Legend and making sure that the heroes in the format rotates and that people are getting to experience a new, fresh sensation when it comes to the game. Now, these amount of points that you can receive have definitely looked like they've gone to allow it to be more of a 15 to 20 month time frame, which I am actually on the wrong page. Haha. Just kidding. Now I'm on the right page. So, with this update, they highlight 4 primary factors that basically I actually agree with where they're taking this. How long is a hero? What's the lifespan of that hero? They know their upcoming set releases. They know the heroes that will be coming out. They know how many youngs and adults are going to be there. We don't. We just know what's public knowledge at this point. How many are currently legal, aka how many have not Living Legend out, and where the existing heroes that are not Living Legend are in the grand scope of the Living Legend, I guess, to achieve that, where they're at in that scope of it, whether there are a certain percentage there, Dash is lower than Briar, so on and so forth. And the number of events that they have planned for the upcoming year. So I see why they had all those as contributing factors, which is good. So you can see that that's something they post there. They're stating that there are 16 adult heroes, and they have 4 of them that have hit Living Legend, and basically where they're going with this is that the number of heroes that they're introducing in the sets doesn't seem proportional to the amount of points that are available to be received, which is why I think that they're saying that some of these characters are Living Legending out too quickly. They're targeting this lifespan. This is where I want to spend the majority of my time talking about the lifespan that they have directed us toward. I actually really applaud them for the way that this is kind of looking like it's going to work. They want the ideal lifespan to be 15 to 20 months. So what is that? That's basically a year and 3 months all the way up to just shy of 2 years. Now that seems like a long time, but if you think about the complexity and number of times events might cycle through and occur, Pro Tours, World Championship, things like that, that might mean that only 1 or 2 of those have an opportunity in the shortest amount of lifespan. But this does not necessarily mean that that lifespan is going to be cut short, because look at like characters that are not performing well on the Living Legend, hero board at this point. They might exist for many more years to come, mostly because maybe they're not the most sought after. So they might be in the meta for a very long time, and they may have their day later. Especially as new supplemental sets are released and cards are added to their card pools, there'll be ebbs and flows without that, and to me that's great. So what they're saying is that if you win an average of 10%, they hope that you'll have a 40 month Living Legend status. So that's a long time. I mean, if you're only winning 10%, that means that 12, 24, 36, that's over 3 years. So from 3 years down to under a year is what they are assuming, that if your hero is winning that much, that they expect him to cycle out. And I like this because it gives the flexibility for them to not only know that, again, they talk about they're still going to control problematic cards with the banned and restricted list. So that's great. I'm glad that they're still going to do that. I know that there's a group of people in the Flesh and Blood community that are like, oh, they can't ban, or they don't want to ban cards, but face it, there is always going to be balancing problems. There's always going to be weird things that no matter how good your game is, and Flesh and Blood is a great game, it's going to be, there's going to be some level that needs to be addressed, and that is where the ban restricted list comes in.
A few moments later.
So all that said, the way that they're structuring this seems great to me, because that means that certain heroes will have lifespans that are more, I guess, useful for people that are wanting to not only collect their cards, but play. It also might mean that it'll help support some of the value therein in some of those cards, so that could be something. But I understand they also want this game to be playable. So one of the key things that stuck out to me, and I'm going to read this passage verbatim, it's this living legend as a safety value. In the past, I've spoken about living legend system acting somewhat as a safety value. While it's fundamentally true that the sheer nature of how the system works, it's not the purpose of the living legend system. Again, the purpose of the living legend system is to reorganize, sustain the excellence of heroes, and elegantly evolve the meta game over time. I think that is one of the most beautiful sentences I've read from Flesh and Blood, because that means that the game is going to be dynamic. I, as an example, did not really play much during the Starvo, fad, because I was not a fan of just that particular hero and how it kind of dominated, and my hero had zero chance of sticking up to it. Will that happen again? Will there be another hero that will step on my feet? Probably. It's not rock, paper, scissors, but it's also, there's more depth. So the fact that they are recognizing that as heroes come and go, the meta will change, people will, certain heroes will rise and fall quickly or better, and even in supplemental sets, maybe they purposely release a couple cards to nudge one of those heroes a little bit higher in that totem pole, just to be able to maybe have an answer to a particular type of deck that is basically causing them to not work right. I do think that the way that the new event point structures are, I had mentioned in one of my prior videos that it seemed that there was a chance, and I'm gonna pick on Dash here, that there was a chance that basically there could be a scenario at the current rate prior to this article that Dash could have existed and then Living Legend out. So Dash is number 4 here with 292. So at this stage, in theory, she could have got enough points that before the next set, which could be a Mechanologist set, that'd be awesome, I'm really hoping for that, that there would actually be no viable CC Mechanologist character unless they release one, say, in the supplemental set or the next set. That is the only example that I could see based on the current heroes that are out there, because that one class has just one adult hero. However, when you look at it, so again, Briar is she's really close. She's probably going to Living Legend soon. Viserai is more than halfway there. Well, not actually, 400, so, a third of the way there. Katsu is already a third of the way there, so that was WTR. Viserai, Bravo, again, 228. All these other heroes have very little. But then as you go down and you look at the Living Legend points as they come in, Phi is now new, Dromai is now new, Dorinthea, the Quicksilver Prodigy, is new. So these are... The board will update as a new contender enters the ring, so to speak. But I still actually like, and I know this was another topic, the signature weapon disappearing, because that also makes it to where it opens the game design to be more unique as the game evolves, because I don't want Dash to have only her pistol. you know, the Teklo plasma pistol, while I like it, I want something different. You know, they have a shotgun, so to speak, but why not have Mechanologist swords, aka Mechanologist, you know, warrior build or something, or Mechanologist ninja, whatever. You know, I would like to have... I get that there's a signature weapon, and that's nice because each one has one signature weapon. It's not nullifying all of them. But if it is a generic, in this case, a generic weapon, just a straight base class or base talent, a draconic weapon, a ninja weapon, a wizard weapon, then that means that perpetually for the rest of the game they have to play within the constraints of that weapon versus they could not play within the constraints and be good. So anyways, that is my thoughts on the Living Legend update, the article that they had. I am very excited that they addressed this. I think that it gives me a little bit more faith in where the vision of what they're trying to go with the game is. I'm very, very excited about it. So I'm going to disappear for a second, boop, and then I'm going to go no fly key. I am big again. So thanks for tuning in. I very much appreciate this. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell button, and until next time, enjoy, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. You're captain.